So, welcome to my educational autobiography, or my final synthesis project for my Introduction to Foundations of Education's class. My name is Caitlin Phillips, and I'm a French and resource teacher who lives in Mi'kma'ki, also known as Nova Scotia, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Before I get into the rest of the things here, I'm actually going to speak about why I did a website. I have to say that I am lucky, privileged enough to have grown up in a household where we had internet. I had internet, I think, around 10 years old, and my mom worked at IBM, which is not a thing anymore. Kids don't know what IBM is, but so computers and technology and problem solving and things like that is something that is very much a part of who I am and figures into my identity. Speaking of identity, here are some of the other key social groups at the macro level that I belong to. So I am white, English and Scottish, upper middle class. I'm a cisgendered woman. My pronouns are she, her, elle in French. I'm queer, agnostic, non-disabled but hard of hearing, and a Canadian citizen. And these are the key social groups at the macro level. You can see, and we'll talk about this a little bit further down as well. This is from our book. Our textbook is Everyone Really Equal, second edition, An Introduction to Key Concepts in Social Justice Education by Özlem Sensoy and Robin DiAngelo. Most of the material that I'm going to be presenting in this website and my final synthesis project will be from and inspired and based on the learning from this textbook here. So to continue, here you see my flower of power, which was an activity we did in class. And you can see that each petal of the flower represents so each petal on the outside is the dominant social group. Each petal on the inside is the minoritized social group. And then the actual descriptor is on the very inside of the flower. This is a wonderfully visual way to kind of see which dominant groups or which institutional advantages somebody has, so which privileges they may have. For me, I am, like I said earlier, upper class, English is my first language, cisgender, youthful, able-bodied, white. I have post-secondary education, citizen, I'm from Canada, and I'm Canadian, and my family is a nuclear family. In terms of minoritized groups that I'm a part of, I'm non-Christian. Agnostic is kind of the closest word I think that would describe me. I am part of the LGBTQ community, queer, and I am female. So you can see just from the colors alone, and of course the placement on the outside or the inside, that for the vast majority of the groups, the key social groups that I'm a part of on this binary kind of level, that I am much more part of the dominant groups than I am of the minoritized groups, which makes things, it's like the green is kind of going along with the current, and in terms of society, makes things pretty easy. And in terms of the red ones, it's like swimming upstream. I just wanted to give a quick content warning before I continue with my other pages, and also a definition. So some content on this site will include topics that some people may find triggering or traumatizing, such as emotional and mental abuse, addiction, suicide, fat phobia, racism, sexism, classism, and homophobia and heterosexism. In terms of heterosexism, I did want to give a definition. This is from the glossary of our textbook. And heterosexism is a word that I actually myself have been using more and more. It pertains to me in a lot of different ways. And the definition is the values, attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors that support the primacy of male-female intimate relationships. Heterosexism is enforced by institutions and the creation of laws, social policies, and everyday practices that maintain heterosexuality as the innate norm for human intimacy. Heterosexism rests on the assumption that male-female bonding is superior to any other form of intimacy, and anything other than heterosexuality is deviant or non-existent. And we will continue on the next page.